Cars wear out when parked. I know, that sounds backward. We count miles, not minutes. But engines idling in place quietly chew up oil. Here is the kicker that woke me up years ago. About 60 minutes of idling can equal 80 to 120 minutes of driving. Ford even built idle hour meters into police vehicles because the oil keeps breaking down while the odometer does not move. That is not a theory. That is straight from owner manuals and fleet guidance I have used in the shop. I am Morgan Lane, and you are watching Recall Roadmap with Morgan. Today, I am going to show you a simple plan that works for delivery cars, taxis, police units, and even portable generators. We studied fleet manuals, lab reports, and real cases. The plan is step by step. First, the damage. Then, how to count the clock. Next, the right oil and filter. After that, the short trip trap. We will hit generators. Then we build your real schedule. Taxi and delivery drivers, quick check for yourself. How many idle hours do you rack up in a day? Think about that number as we go, because the miles-only schedule in your manual may be too long. The fix starts with understanding what idle does to oil. Let's open that up next. Here is a blunt truth I see in the lab and in the bay. Idle engines look calm, but the oil is under attack. At idle, combustion is not complete. Unburned fuel and blow-by gases sneak past the rings and wash down into the crankcase. That fuel thins the oil and dissolves protective additives. Moisture joins the party too, and the mix can form acids. Over time, those acids raise corrosion risk, and the oil's cleaning package gets used up fast. Some fleet studies show wear at idle can be about twice what you would expect from normal cruising. That aligns with the simple field rule I mentioned earlier. About 60 minutes of idle can count like 80 to 120 minutes of driving. You will not see that on the odometer, but your bearings, cam lobes, and timing chain feel every minute. Picture a small, clear cup of used oil. Add a little gasoline and a few drops of water. It gets thin, and then, as soot builds, it can thicken in cold starts. Both are bad. Too thin, and the film breaks. Too thick, and it starves parts. The takeaway is simple. If idle is common in your day, miles alone lie. So how do we make miles honest? We convert hours to miles next. If miles do not tell the whole story, give the engine what fleets give it: equivalent miles. Many fleets treat one idle hour like roughly 25 to 35 miles. I like a simple middle number. Use 30. 1 hour equals about 30 miles. That turns invisible time into a number you can track. Let me make it real. 4 idle hours in a shift? Call that 120 miles. 100 idle hours over a season? That is about 3,000 miles. 1,000 idle hours over a year? You are near 30,000 miles. One source even ties 5,000 hours to about 175,000 miles at the 35 factor. That is exactly why severe duty guidelines add time or hours to the schedule. On screen, I will show a clean chart so you can grab your factor quickly. Pick 25 for cooler engines, 30 for a safe middle, or 35 if you run hot or heavy electrical loads. The goal is not perfect math. The goal is consistent math so your plan keeps up with the abuse your oil sees. Now that you have a conversion, the next question is practical. How do you actually count those hours day to day? Let's do that. You cannot improve what you do not measure. So let's get your hours nailed down. Many vehicles, especially police packages and some trucks, have an engine hour display built in. In Ford manuals, there is even an idle hour meter that accumulates time when the shifter is in park or neutral. You can switch the dash to an hours mode that shows an H and a number. That is gold for service planning. No hour meter? No problem. You can add a simple aftermarket hour meter that ties into ignition power, or use a scan tool and app that reads engine runtime. Here is my shop habit that helps small fleets. Log hours at the same time you log fuel. A tiny weekly note in your book or app builds a clear picture fast. Aim for the same routine each week. Note total engine hours, idle heavy days, and the miles you drove. That gives you an idle percentage and a conversion to equivalent miles using the factor you chose. Once you can count, you can control. And now that you are tracking hours, we can defend the oil itself with smarter choices. Let's talk oil and filters that stand up to heat and fuel next. Old oil and weak filters are a bad match for hot, idling engines. I see it over and over. High idle drives heat into the sump and invites fuel into the mix. So I go with full synthetic oil in these cases because synthetic base stocks hold their thickness better at high heat and are more stable when a little fuel sneaks in. But do not improvise. Always use the exact spec and viscosity your engine maker calls for. If the book says a certain grade, use that grade in full synthetic form from a trusted brand. Match that oil with a high-quality filter built with strong media and a solid bypass valve. A robust filter traps soot and varnish without collapsing during long idles and cold starts. I like to cut filters open for customers so they can see the media. You will see the difference in pleat strength. If this is helping, grab the free high idle interval planner at the link below and subscribe for recall and TSB updates. Also, hit like so more drivers who idle can protect their engines. Great oil and a strong filter buy you margin, but they do not erase the short trip problem. Let's fix that next. Short trips are sneaky. You start, drive a few blocks, stop, then repeat all day. The oil never gets fully hot. When oil stays cool, water from combustion and a touch of raw fuel settle into the sump. Additives get eaten up, acids form, and sludge starts to build. I have opened timing covers on delivery cars and seen chains and guides dark with varnish because the oil stayed dirty and thick on cold starts. Right after a cold start, fuel pressure is rich. That is when the most dilution can happen. If the oil is already tired, that fuel can push viscosity off target. Now the chain and hydraulic tensioners are not getting the film they need. Over time, you can hear rattle on startup, and that is a warning I never ignore. 2 simple habits help. First, give the car a warm stretch. A weekly 15-minute steady cruise helps boil off moisture. Second, use a time-based interval during heavy short trip seasons. Many fleets change every 3 to 4 months, even if the miles are low. That keeps the additive package fresh and sludge from taking hold. And this logic applies to more than cars. Standby generators need this kind of care too. Let's cover them. Generators idle by nature, and they get forgotten until storm night. Do not wait for that. Treat them like a high idle vehicle. Follow the engine maker's hour-based schedule. Many popular units call for oil changes about every 100 to 200 run hours, or by the calendar if that comes first. Keep a small log taped to the unit so the next change is obvious. Fuel matters here even more. Gasoline with ethanol ages fast. Use fresh fuel, add stabilizer for storage, and exercise the generator on a regular schedule so it reaches full operating temperature. That burns off moisture and keeps seals happy. When you store oil for the generator, keep it inside in a dry spot. Cold, damp storage can invite condensation into containers. The same rules apply to small contractor pumps and job site compressors. Hours count. Fresh oil protects. A simple hour meter, clean fuel, and a firm schedule take the panic out of power outages. With damage, conversion, tracking, and oil choices in place, you now have all the parts. Let's plug them into a clear worksheet and build your plan that blends miles, hours, and months the right way. We have the pieces. Now, let's make your plans simple enough to use. Think in OR terms, miles or hours or time, whichever comes first. Step 1. Pick your idle factor, like 30 miles per idle hour. Step 2. Log your average day in miles and hours. Step 3. Note your oil type and the exact spec from your manual. Step 4. Account for weather and short trip patterns. Let's run a real case from my notebook. A small delivery van idles about 6 hours per day, 5 days per week. That is about 30 hours per week, or roughly 900 hours per year. At the 30 factor, that equals about 27,000 miles from idle alone, before you count road miles. The manual might say 7,500 miles in normal use. That van gets a safer plan. Every 4 months, or 5,000 miles, or about 150 idle hours, whichever comes first. The math is simple, and it works. Use the free high idle interval planner linked below. Plug in your numbers and print the result for the glove box. With this worksheet, miles-only guessing is gone. Hours, months, and duty cycle set the pace. One last thing remains. Let's lock in a few safety rules so you never overthink this. Here is the clean rule I teach fleets and families. When in doubt, lean safe. If idle time is about 1/5 or more of your engine's life, use the severe schedule in your manual. Many industry guides suggest cutting normal intervals by roughly 1/4 when idling is a regular part of the job. I like that as a baseline. Then I fine-tune with oil analysis if the fleet wants data. Double-check everything you enter on your worksheet. Make sure the oil spec matches your cap and your manual, and that your filter is built for the job. Keep receipts in a simple folder or photo album. Oil is cheap. A seized engine or a stretched timing chain is not. Lean safe, and you control both risk and cost. Quick recap. Idling invites fuel, moisture, and acids into the oil. Equivalent miles turn hidden time into a clear number. Hour meters and logs make it easy to track. Synthetic oil and strong filters buy you margin. Short trips need time-based changes. Generators live by hours. With the plan set, you have turned a hidden enemy into a managed routine. Now, let's close it out and keep you rolling smart. Today we cracked the miles-only myth. Hours matter. Idling sneaks in fuel and moisture, and that can thin or thicken oil outside its grade. Now you have a clear path. Count hours, convert to miles, follow the exact spec, and set an OR rule by miles, hours, or months. You built a plan that protects the engine and your budget. This is Recall Roadmap with Morgan, and I am glad you spent time with me. If you want more safety tips, recall alerts, and TSB insights, subscribe and share this with someone who idles for work. The free high idle interval planner is linked below, so you can print your schedule tonight. Thanks for watching. Your turn now. What was the biggest surprise about idling in your world, and what will you change first?